Let's look at the Craftsman race analysis, how these guys are going to attack this 60-lap race. As you see, the field's rolling down into turn one there. The length of the race is 60 laps, 150 miles. Stage 1, 15 tight. Stage 2, 15 tight. And then stage 3 are going to go 30 laps. You can see the pit window there, 30 to 32 laps. And every year we've run this race, Adam, we've seen something different happen. Whether the stage winner in stage 2, John Hunter Nemechek 2 years ago, he took the victory. That didn't happen any other years. Some guys pit twice, some guys pit once. It's all over the board. That's going to be a fun story to follow here today.
Danny Stockman was on the pit box for 2 of the last 3 winners here. Brandon Jones a couple of seasons ago, 3 years ago. Last year, Chandler Smith. His strategy, pit one time. Today, he's calling the shots for Nick Sanchez, who starts on the pole. As we look at our Craftsman starting lineup, we said it earlier, an all-rookie front row. Sanchez up front with Jake Garcia.
Just a youthful front of this field. You see Austin Hill, Zane Smith. Zane's going to be tough to beat today. Had a really good truck yesterday in practice. Rajah Caruth, and there's Matty D. He's fighting for that playoff life.
Back at row number 5, Corey Heim, the hottest guy going right now in the Truck Series, along with Chase Purdy, having a career year.
There's the man that we think will be in the front before it's over. Will he stay there all the way to the checker? We talk about strategy, how that will differ. We're going to ride along and see how it looks from Kyle Busch's angle.
Have an interloper, Christopher Bell, back in the field. He's a former winner here in the Truck Series.
Kaz Gralla, double duty today, trucks and Xfinity, and he's back there with Stuart Friesen, who's trying to make his way into the playoffs. Saw Tyler Ankrum, he needs to win to get in. There's your guy, Stephen Parsons, qualified for the race. That's great, Phil.
Alongside Daniel Dye.
Yeah, he's going to get a lot of coverage. D and Daniel right there together as we see Haley Deegan qualified there. Ross Chastain uncharacteristically outside of the top 20.
We want to see if we can maybe talk to Nick Sanchez here in a few moments.
I think the team is chatting with him right now, Phil, but yeah, I'd love to hear what he's thinking. This is a beautiful sight coming off that third turn, Adam. I sat on the pole there once, and just seeing that front straightaway all to your own, nothing ahead of you, that's a great feeling.
Now let's see if we can try Nick. Hey, Nick Sanchez, Phil Parsons in the Fox booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Phil.
Buddy, another great qualifying effort. You guys have that thing tuned up, really solid finishes in a row. What's your strategy for today, Nick?
Yeah, thank you for that. I think strategy for today is honestly just stay out front, keep it clean, and try to run our own race and, our own strategy. I think we've got great track position, so hopefully we'll keep it that way and, just stay out front, like I said, keep it clean, collect some points, and ultimately contend for a win come lap 60.
All right, buddy, you got a great man on top of the box calling the shots. Good luck.
Sir, thank you, guys.
It is a stressful balance. A win locks you in, but when you're so close to the cut line, you want as many points as you can gather, and sometimes those two thought processes don't add up when it comes to having success to win the race and then play the strategy just right when it comes to all those points. Let's hear once again from our pit reporters. We start things off with Josh.
Well, best starting position of the year for the 35 of Jake Garcia. He's starting on the front row, and I talked to him a little while before the race started, and he said, hey, this track lives up to the name, the tricky triangle. That's the biggest thing he had to learn, was how to handle the different corners. But his crew chief, Mark Hillman, said this kid picks up on things really quick. He said it's not a matter of if, but when he wins. And he said, hey, why not today, Jamie? Why not today?
Well, for Austin Hill, he's kind of saying the same thing. This is his first Truck Series start since Pocono here last year. So he said he would love to come out and do some more of these. It doesn't always work out sponsor-wise. He was a little bit surprised by their efforts in qualifying, qualified 5th, but they struggled in practice. So he said, we've obviously have a lot of speed. We've got a great truck. And if I'm already up here at the front, he said, there's no reason why I can't stay up here. So he said he's looking forward to a fun day. Adam.
Austin Hill, 8 career wins in the Craftsman Truck Series. Won the regular season championship a few years ago, and driving to 7 for Team Spire. Here's a look at what that truck has done so far this year. Had a few different drivers behind the wheel, most notably Kyle Larson at North Wilkesboro. He came to play on that Saturday afternoon, leading 138 laps, getting the win. Marco Andretti was impressive a couple of weeks ago in Mid-Ohio.
He had a great top 10 qualifying effort, got shunted around a little bit there towards the race and didn't get the finish he deserved.
It's been fun seeing the performance of this 7 truck and Spire and all that they've done.
You know, we got a couple of different versions, a double duty. Those that are running twice today, trucks and Xfinity, and then those that are running the truck race today and then doing Cup tomorrow. We've talked about Kyle Busch. You mentioned Christopher Bell is in the race. And Ross Chastain is here. When you look at those drivers that are Cup superstars that are coming over and running in the Craftsman Truck Series, they've all won in a truck at Pocono. Kyle Busch has done it twice. Ross won here 2019. Christopher Bell did it 2017, went on to claim the championship, ironically enough, driving for Kyle Busch.
Didn't Christopher Bell jump in the truck for Noah Gragson when Noah got sick right before qualifying? Didn't Christopher Bell jump in that truck and end up finishing second maybe that day, and he hadn't even planned on running the truck race?
What you're saying is he's decent at Pocono, and overall he's got a little bit of talent. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, yes.
It's going to be fun to watch Ross charge through this field with that poor qualifying effort. How about we'll hop on board with a couple of trucks? We always ride along with our buddy Daniel Dye. There you see Daniel in the Race to Stop Suicide on board in his GMS Chevy, starting in the 20th position. Told me on the phone last night that he underdrove his truck in qualifying, couldn't wait to make up for it today in the race for his team.
We're also going to ride along with the guy trying to get win number 100 for KBM, Kyle Busch. He's starting 12th. He had a little bit of a bobble in qualifying. He was the fastest truck in practice. This is the farthest back that he's qualified when qualifying was held in 10 years. And that Zaret's Transport Chevy will start from 12th.
I've teased Kyle many times and said, when you come over run in the truck Xfinity Series, we should just have a rule that at the end of stage 2, you have to drop to the rear.
I like that.
It balances the competition, and it gives us something to talk about on television. 12th place qualifying effort, I'm not sure that accomplishes the goal, but we'll take it and see where we run from here. So what are we thinking as far as strategy today? I mean, we've seen it since we went to the stage era, you know, 1 stop versus 2. How do we feel this plays out this afternoon?
I mean, you heard Nick Sanchez. He's not going to tell us. Everybody's got a plan. There's the mastermind. He's won this race a couple of times, and he's going to keep it tight to his vest. I expect we're going to see him short pit in that final second stage and get that track position.
Yeah, the last 6 years, it's been split right down the middle. 3 times the winner has pitted twice, 3 times the winner has pitted once. And as Michael said, the only time it's ever been done winning the second stage was John Hunter Nemechek a couple years ago.
It's hard to imagine that Danny Stockman isn't going to hope his driver gets the lead, win stage 1, stay out, as you said, Michael, short pit at the end of stage 2, just prior to the end of stage 2. So you get some stage points, but you maintain the track position and do what has been the winning formula for him 2 out of the last 3 years. It's a couple of rookies on the front row, Sanchez and Garcia. Green flag is out. We're racing in the Poconos.
I was going to say, kind of a slow start on the front row, and you could see what resulted. Guys in the back bumping into one another. Hopefully no damage. I saw Stephen Parsons swing wide. Look at the dive to the bottom for Osavar.
42, wasting no time as they funnel down into turn 1.
We saw a lot of grip in that second lane earlier today in the ARCA Menard series, so Nick Sanchez doing a nice job trying to break the draft and get away from these. Look how they're lined up on that outside line.
Garcia trying to get back to second.
That's a
inside of Hocevar tunnel turn.
That's a tough pass to make down on the bottom in the tunnel. It's so fast there. Talked to a couple of drivers yesterday, and they said the draft here changes everything. You can't really see where you're going and find your lift points because you're so tucked up behind the truck in front of you. Not only does it speed you up down the straightaway, it hurts visibility.
And that tunnel turn is rough, too. That thing gets bumpier every year.
Watch this 3-wide move. Bam, there it is.
The old 2-for-1, Zane Smith in the 38. Got a little draft, those trucks running side by side. Can he get second in a turn 1? Yes, he can.
Perfect scenario for Zane Smith, though, when those trucks were side by side, punching such a huge hole in the air, and he took advantage of it.
Look at Matty D down on the bottom, getting a push. Grant Enfinger on the back of that 25 truck. We talk about drafting, but man, these have been some great shots early on in this race to see exactly what we mean by how important it is here at Pocono.
See right of your screen, Corey Heim trying to make the move on Chase Purdy.
Made it work.
He did make it work and jumped in that throttle and squirted out ahead of Chase Purdy.
I was really curious to see whether the 11 of Corey Heim or the 51 of Kyle Busch got to the front first, because I know how fast both those trucks are, and right now give the advantage to Heim.
Good start to the day for Enfinger hanging around up front.
Well, I know that the draft is important here and we talk about it, but it seems like it's even more important than what I remember.
This could be a big pull here for Purdy. He's going to dive to the bottom. At the initial start, man, there was a lot of mess going on in the back. I think it's because the leaders, Nick brought them down so slow that everybody started to anticipate the start in the back. Let's see if we can see if anybody got any damage. It's going to happen about that green truck back there where Stephen Parsons is. And see the trucks all bounding up there? That just gets worse as it goes back through the field. Ooh. I think Stefan was heads up on that when he had a nice run. He said, oh, I better abort. And the truck behind him hit him, but there was no damage. That's a good thing.
On board Kyle Busch. Scored in the 13th position, side by side with Stuart Friesen.
And he couldn't stay in the gas. Stewart up on the outside.
Stewart's got to go because you look at those drivers. Oh, and there's a hard hit.
Tanner Gray.
First caution of the day. Comes out a couple of laps in.
Tanner was running in the 15th spot. He was really good in practice yesterday. Actually had the second quickest truck in practice.
Yeah, we interviewed him and he was so optimistic about how, oh, that's not going to work.
As you can see steam, obviously, he's punctured the radiator.
Got loose underneath the one.
Got loose underneath the one.
That's his
Race's
teammate.
Kaz Grala.
And that's the radiator actually sticking up. It actually came out of its mount and is barely even hanging there.
You know, we talked about early, Adam, how hard it is to run that bottom. You're going to get loose down there. And that's exactly, oh, nice job by Ankrum hanging on, but he's going to have a little damage. Man, you just feel terrible for Tanner because it's just such a great truck and he wanted it so badly, knows he's got to win. And
we talked about him being 24 points below the cut line coming in, needing a good run here. It's almost going to be a must-win for him now next week at Richmond.
When you look at all those drivers, you don't know what their fate will be today, but you look at the number of drivers between him and a playoff spot and how tight things are. Seems pretty obvious now he's going to have to win at Richmond if he's going to qualify for the playoffs. Let's go on board, see the view from Daniel Dye's onboard camera.
oh, man.
We saw him wiggle and almost caught it one time, then it got away from him, and just no way to avoid that inside safer barrier.
And you could hear Daniel heads up on the throttle. He saw him get sideways right away, lifted off, and then saw that it was going to be clear to the top and went that way.
Jamie?
After the impact with the wall, I was listening in on the radio, and there was a moment where they were considering trying to get Tanner to get the truck back to pit lane as safely as possible, but there was zero oil pressure, and with that indication, they couldn't risk running it and blowing up the motor, so had to shut it off. We'll catch up with him once he gets cleared for medical. Adam.
Thank you, Jamie. AMR safety team on the scene as they always are. They'll pull that truck away. We'll clean things up, and boy, what a start here at Pocono. Tanner Gray hard into the wall. This is Kyle Busch on board, and see how aggressive things are getting on track here in the Poconos. Tonight, 7 Eastern on Fox, baseball night in America. Two of the best teams in the National League going at it, Braves and Brewers. One atop the NL East, one atop the NL Central, or you get the AL Central. White Sox and Twins. Coverage starts 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. Fox Sports app. Check local listings for the game in your area.
National League broke that long losing streak in the All-Star game, didn't they?
How about that?
Dang it.
That was bitter for you being a Tigers
Totally,
fan.
100%. All-American League.
Let's go down to Josh.
Yeah, just an update on the 38 of Zane Smith. Yesterday in practice, he was way too tight, so I talked to Chris Lawson. He said they were going to overcompensate and go way the other way, going loose, going into the race, and he just came over the radio, said the truck is much better, but he could still use to be a little bit freer. And remember last year at Pocono, tough race for him, brought a new truck, and they struggled all day. This year, they brought the Phoenix truck, which was the championship-winning truck, and he's loving that truck right now. Jamie?
For Ben Rhodes, after starting this race 34th, he's all the way up to 25th. And the reason he was at the back to begin with was he had a little bit of tire rub during qualifying. They needed to change that tire, which relegated them to the rear of the field. He said it was going to take a balance of aggression as well as patience in order to start ticking him off. He had that. He was actually the only truck that made it through that Tanner Gray incident without any contact. So he still has clean 4 corners all around him, and he's happy with what he has underneath him. Adam?
That's a good feeling. We know how good Ben is and how much fun that he and Ty Majeski were going to be watch coming through the field. They're making some nice progress here early.
Yeah, Ty's up 16 positions since the start.
And now you tighten the field back up. You do the choose and chance to go get some more, right?
Absolutely.
Just hope they get a little bit cleaner restart. I think the anticipation of going racing today had those guys up on the chip. Saw a lot of contact back in the middle of the field, and that's why Matt Crafton was on pit road working on his truck just a bit ago. A lot of teams elected to come to pit road during this caution if they needed to make adjustments. We saw Tyler Ankrum catch a little damage off that crash with the gray truck and came in and tidied that up.
Michael, we just got started. We've run 7 laps, and what does that mean?
Means that we've got about 7 more to go, and we're going to be done with stage 1. How does that work, Phil?
Amazing how fast these stages go by.
Start the race, get a quick caution, do the choose, go green, 7 to go in the stage.
Let's see if we can stack them up and do this again a little bit cleaner this time. Nope, not a lot of pride. Are you surprised Kyle Busch still outside the top 10?
Yes, I am. We haven't really got a good look at his truck to see what he may be fighting.
We saw him down on the bottom get loose. That cost him some time, maybe a couple positions. He'll get those back possibly. What a great start to this race it was for Nick Sanchez, though. He did everything exactly like he needed to do. Took off with the lead and was driving comfortably away from the field.
We saw Zane take advantage of a 2-wide race to make it 3 wide and make the pass. Moves his way all the way up to second. Now he will restart on the inside of Nick Sanchez.
That's Matt DiBenedetto in the 25 truck just behind Smith. He'll be pushing hard. Hopefully everybody will stay in line. That's their goal. If you're leading this race, just stay behind me and push. But along about row 4 or 5, I'm going to say it'll start spreading out. And they could be 4 or 5 wide by the time they get to turn 1.
Good news, Tanner Gray released from the infield care center after that hard hit in turn 1. Front row for the restart, Sanchez, Zane Smith, and we get it, as we said, with 7 laps to go. In this opening stint of the race, Sanchez goes once again, as we talk about, in that outside lane. It's been so fruitful so far today at Pocono.
A lot tighter start than the initial start.
Everybody's pushing along. Here comes the flare out.
It's Austin Hill sneaking out of line. Big push for Zane Smith to take over the top spot into turn 1.
Ooh, look at that pack back in the middle. 3 wide. Hang on, baby.
Taylor Gray, you see that orange and black truck on the left side of your screen, pushing Hocevar, trying to push him by Jake Garcia.
We talk about the bumps in the tunnel. Down on the bottom, they're worse. That makes it hard to make those passes work. You see the speed on the outside for Enfinger. He drives around the 42 of Hocevar.
Here comes Kyle Busch in that 51 truck on the outside around Stuart Friesen.
Kaz Gralla in the 1. He's having a nice run early.
How about that run? Stewart got back in the throttle and cleared Kyle Busch coming off for turn 3.
Talked to Stewart yesterday when I wished him a happy 40th birthday, and he told me don't remind him. But he said, he said, I've got a fast truck, Mike. I know we didn't qualify good, but we're going to be good come race time.
Is this a 2-for-1 into the corner? Yes, it is. Okay, Kyle Busch is awake and ready to play.
See Corey Heim moves to the inside of Hocevar. Austin Hill makes the pass on Jake Garcia, takes over the 4th spot.
Look at those runs from the back they get when those passes happen because of all the air that's disturbed. That's just a fun corner there, setting up for turn 3, especially when you're on the inside and you've got a guy on the ropes. As you see, Kyle completes the pass on entry. Now he's able just to storm off the corner.
It's almost like he used that opening run, shake things down, see what he's got. And now he's putting it all together up inside the top 10 easily now as Kyle Busch scored 7th. Back behind him, the draft is a real thing. Kaz Grala in the 1, getting a shove from Chastain, who now pulls out of line. And Ben Rhodes continues to climb his way to the front in the 99.
Yeah, Ben had a tremendous run off that draft, and he's going to drive around Kaz Grala in the 1 and try to pull up side by side with Ross. Not quite able to get there. Looks like Kaz is going to come back on the outside.
Colby Hired in that 9 truck battling with these guys, and there's Stephen Parsons in the green truck alongside Daniel Dye. They're racing side by side through the tunnel. That'll get your attention.
Yeah, we never used to do that back in the day, did we, Mike?
All this racing you see here from 18th, 20th on back.
Here Daniel just working that gas pedal, just trying to get it down as soon as he can, but it's just difficult to pin it down off the corner. Now as these two go side by side down the front,
you have to wonder who's behind them and what kind of a run they're going to get.
Look up to the mirror and see what's going on behind you.
You've already seen it 2 or 3 times today, where you get in that wake and then power around somebody. It's Crafton back there.
Oh, Daniel got a little bit tight there, it sounded like, and had to roll off the gas, and Stefan keeps that spot.
You can see the damage from that initial start of the race when we had that jam up.
Here comes Crafton. He was on pit road. He would like nothing better than to be the wily veteran that he is and go up there and get a top 5 finish and tell Phil you don't poking know what you're talking about.
Well, there's a reason why he's made the playoffs every season.
Year. 3-time champion too. Let's don't forget that in the series.
Looked like he's a little tight there maybe on exit as he got out toward the wall, and it's allowed this big run from Daniel Dye.
It's amazing how far they can drive down in these corners at over 180 miles an hour. Ooh, Matt, really wide there.
Yeah, I think that truck's pushing.
You sound jealous when you talk about how deep they can drive it into the corner. We talked about that yesterday during practice. It hasn't always been that way. Let's go to Jamie.
Tanner Gray has been released from the Infield Care Center, free of any physical injuries, but you think about the mental aspect. What do you now take with you to Richmond?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to a place that I'm not very good at and a must win. So I just want to apologize to my guys. They brought a fast truck and I destroyed it early on, and not racing very smart. So feel really stupid, and yeah, just not what we needed to do here today. But proud of everybody from Tricom for bringing fast trucks. I just need to do a better job. I feel like I've made a lot of dumb mistakes all year to even put us in the position that we're in, and then to do that at a race that is a race that you must run well at is pretty bad. So just need to figure some things out on my end. But yeah, proud of everybody from Tricon, Toyota. Appreciate everybody that supports me. Just need to do a better job.
Moving forward, Adam.
Well, that's frustrating for him and hard to listen to. You just know how close they were, fast truck today, and unable to take advantage.
Yeah, but you have to love when someone, when he takes the credit or blame, whatever the case may be, there's a lot of good things on the horizon for Tanner Gray.
Yeah, that's a mature young man right there that just faced the facts that he's got to do better, and he has the ability. We've seen him run up front all year long. Just has to put it all together. I'll be pulling for him. That was a tough interview to to watch because you know how passionate these guys are about their chances.
Final lap of the stage. Zane Smith out in front of Matt DiBenedetto. Big for Matty D, trying to get some of those stage points. Same for Nick Sanchez. Started on the pole. He is third, but he too will collect a bunch of stage points here.
So is Stuart Friesen, racing hard for that stage point.
Taylor Graven thought he might try to cross him over there. And there, Christian Eckes, remember, started all the way at the back of the field. Christian up to the 11th spot.
Here's Zane Smith going to take the opening stage. Third stage victory of the season.
Good points from Nick Sanchez and Matt DiBenedetto, guys that really need some good points.
Yeah, Sanchez gets to second, DiBenedetto third, Kyle Busch up to fourth, Austin Hill completes the top 5. 15 laps in the books at Pocono. It's all about Zane Smith. Stage 1 complete. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here at Pocono. Zane Smith gets it done. Sanchez, DiBenedetto, Kyle Busch, Austin Hill, the top 5 as we look at the other point getters. Big for Stuart Friesen to get a couple of stage points. Pit road is open. And now we find out what games they are playing. A few of them heading your way, Jamie.
We'll start off with Austin Hill in that number 7 machine. He qualified 5th. He still is placed in that 5th position. He said he's just a little bit too loose right now. He said on a scale, he'd say he's about a 5 out of 10. They asked him if he wanted a drink bottle. He said, nope, I'm all hydrated. All I need is tear off. Josh?
Update on the 25, but Matt DiBenedetto said that truck started off tight, got worse during that run, and also said the truck is running a little hot, so they're going to give him a tear off, see if they can cool that thing down, guys.
So if you pit here, pit window somewhere 30, 32 laps. That means you're doing it on a 2-stop strategy. And if you stayed out, you're probably thinking do it on 1. And it was tight coming off there. Taylor Gray exiting his pit near contact.
Certainly don't want to make a mistake on pit road and get penalized and go all the way to the back. Obviously, you're going to be behind these trucks that have elected not to pit, but you don't want to be at the back of the trucks that did pit.
I like this strategy. Okay, I've finally made up my mind. I like this one. I want to stay out here.
Until it doesn't work later?
I'll update you later. But right now you can see what's that 10, 15 trucks that have stayed out. That's going to mix things up even more so than what we had on that initial start. But Stuart Friesen finished 9th in that stage, and now he stayed out, so he's going to try to take advantage of this stage.
Zane Smith, the race leader, stays out. No surprise that Nick Sanchez stayed on track, because as we said earlier, that's been the call for Danny Stockman when he's had success here in the past, as we look at that 13 forward for Haley Deegan.
I think that's from the initial start, Phil.
Yeah, I do too.
She got into the back of Stephen Parsons in the 02.
I think they're just trying to push the ductwork back out so that truck will cool effectively. Obviously, she was probably running a little bit hot because of there's the damage. That's the other end of that damage. That CRC truck.
That's some good camera work, isn't it?
It
You just
is.
mentioned something and bam,
It shows up.
they're right on it.
If you thought stage 1 seemed quick, stage 2 is going to seem even faster. We go green for the second part of the race from Pocono. After you watch this on FS1, good to have you along. Getting ready for our second stage at Pocono for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And we've been bouncing around all this strategy talk, and there's going to be plenty of it, especially in the next 15, 20 laps.
You know why we bounce it around, Adam? Because it's been bouncing around all over the place for the last 5 or 6 years.
I know. And there's so many things that factor in. Are you running full time? Are you not running full time? Do you have a win? Do you not have a win? Where do you set in relation to the bubble? I mean, you can look at these numbers, and this doesn't even fully tell the story.
No, this is what we talked about the last 6 years since stage racing came in. It's exactly split. 3 guys made it on 2 stops. 3 guys made it on 1 stop. And you would think that all the guys that stayed out, 11 trucks stayed on the racetrack that time, plus Matt Crafton, who pitted early, are on the 1-stop strategy. But We have people like Nick Sanchez who got 9 points that desperately need those stage points. Stuart Friesen's another guy that stayed out that needs those stage points. So that may change their strategy a little bit.
What Phil's saying, they might run to that next into that stage, get those points, and then pit, and hope to do like Christopher Bell did, or excuse me, John Hunter Nemechek did when he pitted at the end of that second stage and won 2 years ago. Kyle Busch is just thinking win, baby.
Win. Number 100 for KBM is what he's looking for.
He's not going to. He will pit with 3 laps to go in this stage. We know that for sure.
And knowing he's in the field and the likelihood of him winning maybe also helps change your strategy, and you say, give me those points. He's on the front row for the restart here with Zane Smith at stage 2 at Pocono.
That's a beautiful thing, isn't it? When they just start so smoothly and then start to fan out in the back. Here comes Corey Heim. Is it Heim time for the lead? Heck yeah.
Dives to the inside of Kyle Busch. 11 on point at Pocono. Meantime, the 2 of Nick Sanchez getting shuffled on the restart.
A little bit of build up on the tires maybe.
Look, coming back at Corey for the lead with the push from Stuart Friesen. Give the lead back to Kyle Busch.
Friesen stayed out. He's got his eye on some big points late in this stage. Up to 3rd is the 52.
Hoping for a push here from behind. Instead of breaking out of line like they all seem to be doing 3 wide into turn 3, that's not going to be easy.
Meanwhile, Kyle Busch with about 6 truck lengths right now over Corey Heim. And if you get out that far as the leader, when it comes time towards the end of that stage, they close pit road with 2 laps to go. You may be able to make the entrance to pit road before the second place truck would get to the start finish line. That would give you an extra lap of fuel.
Hear those engines just grinding up off the corner. Really high gears in these things that make it really important to keep your momentum up. And that's why the draft helps so much, because it frees that engine up to pull up on the truck ahead of you.
Yeah, these engines actually are big cubic inch, 396 cubic inch. They only turn about 7,300 RPMs, where the Xfinity cars later today will turn probably 8,300 RPMs.
And let's give a call to Jake Garcia. Unbelievable in qualifying yesterday. Best ever start on the front row with Sanchez. And he has been able to hang inside the top 5 through a few restarts with some great veterans around him up there. That's not easy to do at Pocono.
And guys, he's not one of those ones that had a little bit of experience in the ARCA series here. He's never been to this racetrack before, as we see Christian Eckes make a late move trying to get underneath him. Remember, they're teammates for McAnally Hilgeman Racing.
That 19 truck has been on a roll, hasn't he? Coming from the back.
Eckes won a stage here last season, has an ARCA victory at Pocono on his resume, so he understands his way around this unique 2.5-mile layout. How about it, Josh?
Yeah, we know the 19 of Christian Eckes wasn't able to qualify, dealing with that grinding in the rear of that truck yesterday, but he said the good thing was that his teammate Jake Garcia practiced so well and qualified so well. They had plenty of good notes to go off of as they worked together as a team, and he said once they got that truck fixed up, they changed out the gears. He's been saying he feels good about the truck right now, and you're seeing it out there on the track, guys.
The results don't lie for the 19, that's for sure. Near contact there as he tries to dip inside his teammate one more time. This time the 19 goes around for 5th in the running order.
I believe if I was Jake, I'd say he caught me. He's faster than me. He's driving me crazy all over my bumper. I'm going to let him go and settle in behind him and see if I can run toward the front with him instead of trying to hold him off.
Totally agree.
Well, not a bad guy to follow. As you said, Phil, first time Garcia's been here, I'd say hanging out with Eckes on track's pretty good. Look at this gaggle of trucks. 16 is Ankrum, 88 is Crafton, Grala's there, Austin Hill, Ross Chastain putting his nose in the middle of it in the 41.
Ross, a late move to the inside of Crafton, is able to make that pass.
As Barney Hall would say, veteran announcer, you can put a blanket over all 6 of those trucks as they battle into turn 3. Matt Crafton tucked in the middle of this mess.
Brett Holmes going to pull out, make it 3 wide, trying to get a 2 for 1. Gonna lose a little bit of his momentum.
Look at that. You're running in the back of this pack. It's like you're at Talladega or Daytona. I'm right there. I can see top 10, but just can't get there.
Daniel Dye going to try to make the move around Haley Deegan. He used the draft. Down on the inside, you hear him pedaling the throttle there.
Look at her come back.
Going to be 5 laps to go next time around. Just a few laps away from green flags pit stops, we think. We'll have it for you in a moment. We're going side by side. Scheduled green flag pit stops underway as we close on the end of stage 2. You saw it while we were away in the side-by-side coverage. Corey Heim, Kyle Busch, among those that made a pit stop. Zane Smith won the opening stage. It appears he's in line to win stage 2. He stays out, 2 to go. Let's listen to their radio.
Stay here, pit this time. No, stay and win the stage. We'll win the stage. We'll get another 10 points on the 11. It'll about put us even with him.
There you go, chasing that regular season championship. He came in 26 points behind Corey Heim.
Did you hear Zane? Pit or stay? The crew chief, stay. We want those points. Know how valuable those could be for some insurance in the playoffs.
Well, and for Sanchez, we talked about Danny Stockman, his crew chief, and what the strategy that he had put on the board the last couple of times he's been to victory lane here, but a different game for Sanchez today because they're, of course, chasing those points. So Sanchez stays out here running 3rd.
Dean Thompson would dearly love to get by Zane Smith. Dean was one of those trucks that came to pit road. Obviously, fresh tires on that 5 truck. Let's see if he can hold off Zane Smith here as they come to 1 to go in the stage.
See that little bit of sparking flying there. That's the low air pressure on the tires. When you change your tires, trucks lower down a bit. That'll come up.
If they finish like this, Friesen, Sanchez, DiBenedetto all get great stage points here that they desperately need.
Corey Heim, the best of the bunch of those that pitted under green. He's 22nd right now and will cycle up front as most of these drivers in front of him now will come down pit road at the end of the stage.
You can see after those pit stops, those positions flip-flop.
Yep.
Corey Heim's team beat Kyle Busch's guys off of pit road, and now we'll be cycling toward the front here when we throw the green and white checkered.
You remember a month ago when we were worried about our defending champ, Zane Smith? He had that run of finishes outside the top 20.
I wasn't worried.
Okay. Back-to-back runner-up finishes, and now doing what he's doing today. Zane Smith is the man at Pocono. He takes stage 2. Friesen, Sanchez, DiBenedetto, Infinger the top 5. Crafton back to the top 10, gets a stage point.
Crafton gets a stage point. He pitted back on lap number 5 on that first caution.
This is fun, isn't it?
It is.
4 stage wins this year for Zane Smith. 3 of those have come in the last 3 races. Final stage on the way from Pocono. Coming into today, 5 points, separated 4 drivers at the cut line. So these stages are so big. And the drivers coming to pit road now stayed out to get those stage points. Zane Smith sweeping the stages. Good day for Sanchez, DiBenedetto, and Friesen. They all needed them, they got them, and now pit stops, Jamie.
And Nick Sanchez will be the first one to stop in that box. Danny Stockman and he have been very secretive over the radio, but I did gather that they are going to take 4 new tires and they're going to go down 1.5 turns on that track bar. He said overall he is pretty happy with the truck that's underneath him. I want to go up pit lane just a little bit to that number 52 of Stuart Friesen. He said he was way too free into turn 3, but he was too tied off. He said it was almost like a 4-wheel slide, so they're making a couple of adjustments to make him more comfortable. Josh?
Big points day so far for Zane Smith in the 38, winning stages 1 and 2. His biggest complaint is in turn 3. He says it's just way too tight right now. They said, don't worry, we'll free you up just a little bit to help out, guys.
11 trucks stayed on track. Those are the ones that had made pit stops prior to the end of the stage. So you see the race off pit road, and if you pitted here, depending on the choose, you're going to, likely restart just outside the top 10. You got a little fresher tires. Some of these guys we know have really fast trucks. It's going to be fun to watch how it all plays out in this final stage.
It sure is, but right now we're going to see Corey Heim and Kyle Busch, who've been strong here. They will be up towards the front on this restart, and we'll see if any of these guys behind them can catch them.
Give a lot of credit to Corey Heim. Got in front of Kyle Busch, and that cycle of stops Now he's in control of the race. It's the final stage at Pocono.
There's a checker flag on the table here today. It's at Pocono.
They love the action.
Oh boy. It's called the tricky triangle, right?
It's a good race. I think he might get chewed up and spit out on this one.
Are there nerves? Of course. Is there pressure? Absolutely.
That's intimidating, isn't it? The intensity just ratchets up.
Pocono Raceway is a tricky track indeed.
All set for the final stage for the Craftsman Truck Series at Pocono. It is the CRC Brakleen 150. On pit road, Jamie Howe, Josh Sims. With Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, I'm Adam Alexander. We've done the strategy shuffle, and now it's time to see who's got the fastest truck in the final stage and can pay it off with a win here in the Poconos.
I can just tell by the smile on your face, Adam. You like what we're lining up to do here. You see Kyle Busch, he's going to be right up front with Corey Heim.
Corey took the outside for this restart. He is the control truck.
We talk about the battle for the bubble. Matt Crafton is all the way back in the 31st position right now. They had to do some work on that truck early. I bet you they tidied up some more stuff under that caution. We'll see how fast he can drive up toward the top 10.
And updating those drivers that stayed out to get the stage point. Zane Smith wins stage 1, stage 2. He will restart 18th here. Nick Sanchez scored 17th prior to the green flag. Jamie?
Well, how about starting 4th and 5th? Parker Kligerman and Kaz Grala, respectively. After starting this race 22nd and 15th, they have found themselves up into the top 5. I just checked in with Seth Smith, the crew chief for Kaz Grala, asked about the fuel situation. They last topped off on lap 27. He said, we're good to go to the checkered. So they're feeling pretty good about their truck, even though Kaz said he underdrove in qualifying. They have something that they can certainly race with. For Parker Kligerman, they were not happy with that truck post-qualifying, which is what moved him all the way to the back. He said there was a weird noise. They thought they might have an issue with the drivetrain, but it was not, and clearly they have some speed. Adam?
Those two drivers, Xfinity Series regulars, they'll race later today. So will Austin Hill. He lost a lap in the cycle of stops. He gets the free pass. He's back on the lead lap as we begin the final stage here at Pocono.
Man, that's wild looking, isn't it? Just think about if you're in the third or fourth row, you can't see ahead of you. You got to look around to the side where you see those cones are on the fence to make sure you know where you're at. That's tough to do right there.
Corey Heim did a nice job of holding on to that lead from that outside restart position.
Hey, his young teammate did a good job of pushing him. Taylor Gray gave him the shove.
Look at that dive by Christopher Bell on Eckes. He goes way low into turn 3. Can he keep that truck low on that angle? Of course you can if you're Christopher Bell. He's a veteran.
As Kaz Gralla, that one truck right beside him. Kaz gets off the corner pretty well as they get down towards turn number 3.
Ross Chastain has entered the party in the 41. Saw him right behind that duo as we check in on the battle for the lead. Going to be 24 to go. Heim in front of Kyle Busch. Then it's Taylor Gray, Kligerman, and Gralla up there.
We wondered how long it would take Ross Chastain to become a part of this party, and you nailed it, Adam. He's there now.
For the lead, left of your screen, Kyle Busch looking inside of Corey Heim. Cannot get there.
He's fast, though. Taylor Gray right there in that Toyota.
Remember where Corey Heim was last year, driving for that guy right behind him.
And a couple of milestones on the line when you talk about the top two drivers in this race. If Heim wins, it would be 600 victories all time in the top 3 series in NASCAR for Toyota. If Kyle Busch wins, it would be victory number 100 for Kyle Busch Motorsports in the Craftsman Truck Series.
I know it wouldn't be much consolation to Kyle Busch today, but when Toyota gets that 600 win, he's responsible for over 200 of those wins personally as a driver.
Yeah, just as a driver, and then you add on all of his victories in the Truck Series as an owner.
See Corey Heim trying to break the draft down that front straightaway, but didn't work. Kyle still got that huge run to the inside, but Corey's just so strong up on the top, able to roll the top and keep the lead.
Chastain going backwards.
An issue for Ross. He must have had a moment. As you can see, everybody driving by. There's Matt DiBenedetto, Nick Sanchez going by.
Probably down on the bottom. You know how loose it gets down there. We saw that early in the race with Tanner Gray. See if we can catch what happens. Oh, well, you know, if you get hit too,
that'll get you a little bit sideways as well.
But he was free down on the bottom.
He was,
I think Christian just ran up on him a little bit faster than he expected and caused Ross to lose all the ground he'd gained.
Went from 8th to 18th, Jamie.
Yes, and he had worked so hard to get up there. He was so loose early on. He said it felt like it was just edgy. He told me out on the grid, he said, you know, some races you come into, you just don't have the speed. You've just got to work through it. That's what they've done. So certainly a frustrating moment after everything that they were able to build. Josh?
Strong run right now for the 17 of Taylor Gray. He feels really good about that truck, especially after that last short run. And remember, this is his first truck race here at Pocono. Now, last year he did win the ARCA race, so he feels good about the truck, and feels good about his tires and his ability to make it all the way to the end on fuel as well, guys.
This is a big day for Taylor Gray right up there. We saw him up front at IRP last year. Got taken out late in that race.
Leading, yeah.
Had to crash, and oh, look at that battle.
You know, among the drivers back in the middle of this mess, Zane Smith, who wins stage 1, stage 2, and we heard him talk about it on the radio. Stay out, win the stage, get those points. We're chasing a regular season title. They've done that. But because they did that, they lost all that track position, and now you find yourself in a big old mess as we run with 21 laps to go.
Can you believe he's all the way outside the top 25?
I thought he would just march towards the front, but there's a bunch of really good trucks up there as well, right in front of him.
See the 7 there, Boston Hill, Chase Purdy.
Grant Enfinger in the yellow and black 23.
Raja trying to get to the bottom there. And look, I talked about it earlier. You can see 10 spots, you just can't go get them because of how difficult and how competitive the Truck Series is.
Corey Heim leading. It's our Craftsman 20 to go. Heim looking for his 3rd win of the season. Kyle Busch behind him looking for his 3rd win in the Truck Series at Pocono. Taylor Gray, Christopher Bell, Parker Kligerman the top 5. Kaz Grala, Ty Majeski from the back is 7th. Dean Thompson is 8th. Christian Eckes from the rear is 9th. Ben Rhodes also coming from the tail has a position inside the top 10.
Nice job by Thompson, Dean Thompson, running inside the top 10. Set on the pole for the ARCA race. Likes this racetrack and is doing a nice job. You know, we had this matchup here at Martinsville. Corey Heim versus Kyle Busch, heads up, head to head. And very rarely does a young trucker go head to head with Kyle Busch and beat him. Corey Heim did it that day at Martinsville. We already talk about how good of a driver he is, what great future he has ahead of him. Man, if he's able to beat Kyle here on Pocono with the experience and the wins Kyle has here, another huge day in that young man's career.
You started believing in him at Martinsville. Maybe an exclamation point today, although just as we say it, Kyle Busch goes by. Crossover for Heim in turn 1. Good battle for the lead.
Do we call that an attempted slide job here at Pocono? I think Kyle's going to be in the preferred line on the outside through the tunnel turn here.
See that side draft. Whoa. Corey Heim dove it in there and grabs the lead back.
Strong move by Corey Heim.
Talent on full display for Corey Heim, going toe-to-toe with one of the best and holding his own.
Shattering the right rear tires is not fun.
That's loose. That's Kyle saying he's loose, chattering the right rear. Ooh.
While he's battling for the lead, by the way.
That gets my attention. I'm just sitting here in the booth. Look at that move off the turn. You know what's it's interesting though, you get that big run off the turn, that opens up that draft to come into play, and by the time you get to the next corner, you're liable to have a truck right beside you.
Corey Heim hanging on. We'll take a break. 18 laps to go for the Craftsman Truck Series at Pocono. .16 laps to go at Pocono for the Craftsman Truck Series, and this battle for the lead just will not go away. Corey Heim, Kyle Busch trading blows. 11 of Heim out front right now.
Going to be his move. He's going to try to get to you and try to fake you to the bottom and pull you down to block it, and then swing against your right rear. So protect against that, both ends.
That's a good call by the spotter.
Yeah.
He's seeing what Kyle's doing, running down the front straightaway right on his bumper, just wanting to have Heim block him to the low side so he could swing high. You heard him talking about chattering the right rear, being loose. You're down on the bottom, it's double as loose. So he wants to get up to the top side of the racetrack, and you can see he's filling it out up there, running about a half truck length higher than Heim through the tunnel. Oh,
Sanchez. And driven back up inside the top 15.
Garcia
Great
also.
save here. Yep, and Garcia. two drivers that started on the front row today having a problem with 15 to go.
That has every bit the look of getting loose on the bottom, like we've talked about. I just was talking about Kyle Busch being that way, and two trucks get together like that, you wonder what happened. We'll see.
Garcia was 12th. Sanchez was 14th.
That's big damage for Jake. It's a shame.
Sure
Such a
is.
solid day for that young man.
There was a lot of damage to Nick's truck as well. On their other side. Jamie.
How about
Nick's on the radio right now talking with Danny Stockman. He told Danny that it doesn't feel like anything's tore up. He said, I'm sorry, there was nothing that I really could have done. He said, I went to the brake, it was a little bit soft. Danny's telling him right now it sounds like that he does have a flat tire, but Nick is now slowing it down so the team can get a better look at it. But he said he didn't feel like anything was askew.
A little bit of damage on the right front, but I think they can pull that out. Finish this event.
Yeah.
I go back to the stage points that they collected and how big that is now for Nick Sanchez as we get the replay of what's brought out our fourth caution of the afternoon.
There it is.
Yeah, Nick just got loose down on the bottom. We heard Kyle Busch talking about being loose. Same thing happened to Nick. He made contact with Garcia. Garcia absolutely had nowhere to go. Certainly a victim of circumstances, but tough break for those two youngsters.
I wonder if our buddy, ooh, that's just a shame. Just a mistake by Nick. Took out Jake. I wonder if our guy Daniel.
Well, he's right behind him. You know he's going to be right behind everything that happens on the racetrack.
Let's see what he saw. Oh, we see smoke. Look at that. Couldn't see where he was headed. Relying heavily on the spotter there to say go high, go middle, go middle. He was able to drive right through it.
Hey, and Dye's been on a run of top 15 finishes lately. Scored 14th right now.
Yeah.
So the 43 in position to get it done again. Continues to chase that first top 10 finish of his rookie campaign.
What a battle at the front.
Hey, and I was going to say this, Michael, speaking of rookies, before we got the caution, I know it was all about Heim and Busch. Taylor Gray just hanging right in their hip pocket. He was only a second behind those top two.
And he's just watching too, Adam, thinking, y'all two get side by side. I'll come make a 2-for-1 pass.
And he knows they're going to get side by side. Kyle may be cooling his heels a little bit, trying to cool those tires back down, but he will go after Corey Heim, there's no question. But what a great job by Taylor Gray.
Well, we had two rookies on the front row to start this race. Could we get a surprise winner and a rookie in the form of Taylor Gray, who would really screw things up when it comes to that playoff cut line?
Yeah, let's don't forget that guy running fourth right now that has gotten himself into position, Christopher Bell.
You know, you talk about going side by side. They definitely are going to go side by side in about a lap when we restart.
At the choose.
We're going to choose where we go and how we get there.
Hey, I'm looking at Ty Majeski, who's just behind this group in the 5th position. Came in nearly 100 points above the cut line with what he's done today, being shown plus 113. So he has pretty much locked himself in to the playoffs, despite the fact he's not claimed victory this year. And we talked about him during practice yesterday. You know, he hadn't won this season, but he hadn't won last year till we got to the playoffs. And you look at these playoff tracks and what a great short track racer he is, with Milwaukee on the schedule in the playoffs now. You think about IRP, Bristol, where he won a season ago. It's setting up for him to do exactly what he did in 2022. Turn it up in the playoffs, win races, make the championship four.
You know, he won one of the biggest short track races in America a couple of weeks ago at the Slinger Nationals. And so, you know, when he goes to Milwaukee with the experience he has there, he's going to be really tough. But he's good everywhere.
We look at that playoff cut line. Friesen now plus 23, came in below. DiBenedetto went from plus 5 to plus 30. Sanchez, of course, lost a bunch of positions here with the slide, but he had all of those stage points. He's plus 9 over Crafton. And I mentioned Ty Majeski, who's all but locked at plus 113. 13 laps remaining at Pocono. We're under caution for this. Big restart coming when we return on FS1. Does it get any better than this? Down to 2 races to go to the playoffs. So many different things on the table here when you look at the end of this race. And we're going to get a restart with 10 to go. You got the all-time leader on the front row with one of the young superstars. I say on the front row. I guess when we do the choose,
we're
they'll
assuming
select the front row.
Yeah, I would think so. I would think so. I don't think you want to give up a row here this late in the going.
Hey, let's see if we can get a word with Taylor Gray. Hey, Taylor, it's Waltrip in the Fox team. Do you copy?
Yeah, I got you, Mikey.
Bud, you're doing an awesome job. Do you think you have anything for those 2 in front of you? You're doing perfect today.
I don't know. I mean, about pure speed, I don't know. They're pretty quick. My teammate, Corey Himes, pretty quick, but maybe they start racing each other pretty hard. Pack a big hole in the air here in the front stretch and the back stretch. Maybe I can get a little racy with them and see what we can do.
All right, Bud, go get them. Thanks for your time.
Let's hear from a couple
Thank
of
you.
crew chiefs. Down to Jamie.
All right, coming to 1 to go.
And Brian Patty's making the call on the number 51 for Kyle Busch. He's talked about wanting just a little bit more grip, and now here you go, the run to the checkered flag. What does he have to fight with?
Just a little bit free, but he's doing a great job. We just the 011, knows how to mirror drive pretty well, so it's going to be a good race. I drove this truck last year, and he's a talented race car driver, so it's all in his hands, and hopefully we can pull it off.
It's going to be a good battle to the end. Josh?
Scott Zipadelli on the call for the 11 team of Corey Heim. What's it going to take to hold off Kyle Busch for these final laps and get the win?
We're going to need our teammate to push us. If we can clear the 51 and the 17 can follow us, I think we can hold them off. But we got Christopher Bell behind Kyle. Christopher's speed's not all that good after a few laps, so I think if we clear him and get a good restart, I think we can stay out front with our Safe Flight Toyota Pro.
Thanks and good luck. Adam?
Hey, Zippy said it there, talking about the teammate element in all of this. And the last restart, Taylor Gray did a really good job of pushing Corey Heim. That's going to be huge here on this restart.
Yeah, but what about the guy that's going to be pushing Kyle Busch?
He's decent.
Yeah, Christopher Bell.
Oh, me, this is intense.
A couple of Cup superstars lined up to your inside.
And, it just, we've seen them be able to go 3 and 4 wide already. And now this could be the money restart. No telling what's going to happen when they get down toward turn 1.
We're going to restart with 9 laps to go. Time is running out.
By the way, Jake Garcia, involved in that incident a moment ago with Sanchez, has been released from the care center. Good news there.
A little update from my health. My heart rate's 110 right now.
And you're not even going to restart.
No, I know, but I can't wait to watch this. It's just crazy.
I'm at 100, so.
We're hanging, aren't we? Yeah. We love this stuff.
Hey, and this is 10 to go in the penultimate race. Imagine what it's going to be like with 10 to go at Richmond next Saturday night. We've got all the coverage for you, regular season finale from Richmond right here on FS1.
There's going to be some sleepless nights for those guys around the cut line next week.
You kidding me? 11 points right now, separating the cut. Sanchez in front of Matt Crafton.
Here we go.
Been great all day. 9 to go. Can Heim stay in front of Kyle Busch? 11 outside, 51 inside. Time to decide it at Pocono.
11 needs number 17 to get a good start, and he does just that. Pushes the 11 ahead of Kyle Busch.
Starting to pull out a line about row 4, but Heim able to get the push he needs and slide down in front of Kyle Busch for the race lead.
Carson Hocevar makes it 3 wide, he squeezes up.
And we've got trouble.
Oh no, Stuart Friesen's involved.
Caution.
Look at Matt
number
Crafton.
5.
Matt Crafton, that bright yellow truck slips through there nicely.
And Sanchez was back there after the earlier spin. I believe was able to get Woe down and avoid any problems.
Stephen Parsons into the outside wall.
Yeah, was having a solid day up in the top 20, racing with some really good trucks.
Zane Smith, stage 1, stage 2.
Carson Hocevar down on the bottom of the racetrack. Got loose and caused, I don't know if he got loose or if he just cleared himself up, but he moved up and caused that wreck.
See all the debris for Kaz Gralla.
That'll be terminal for Kaz.
You get a crash early on a restart. You got so many trucks right there together. You know you can produce a big one like this, and this is going to eliminate several good trucks from contention.
Man, Stewart had done such a great job today getting stage points, putting himself in a position to have a great finish. You can see Ross with damage as well.
And looking at our points, and you talk about the impact of that, Michael.
Wow.
Friesen out of his truck, done for the day. He went from well above the cut line to now 5 below. Matt Crafton, with the good fortune of avoiding this incident, now is back in to playoff position. He just seems to always find a way, doesn't he, Matt Crafton?
Wallace Allen in the 45 truck with damage. Also, we saw Chastain, another Nice truck.
Yeah, when that incident happened, they all slid to the outside of the racetrack. So everybody that had lined up on the outside for that restart behind these trucks all were really vulnerable, and a bunch of them got in it.
Look at the updated points. I mean, DiBenedetto, we had said, had made a nice jump with all the stage points, and where he's running, he's plus 29, came in plus 5. Sanchez came in 2 to the good. He's now plus 16, even though he's had some problems today. But this one really big, the exchange for Crafton and Friesen. Friesen, who's been eliminated, and Crafton, who was able to drive through, is now 5 to the good. And, of course, that can change between now and the end of the race. But it's going to be real snug at the cut line once again when we head to Richmond next Saturday night. And the red flag is now being displayed as they prepare to get cleanup underway off of turn 1.
That's a shame. We saw Carson dive to the bottom, make it 3 wide. Kaz up the middle there in the blue truck, and then he just pulls up. Didn't know he was 3 wide, maybe, possibly, but mistake. Oh. See, late there, Ross got into the crippled number 52 of Stuart Friesen.
Yeah, don't know whether he just chased it up the hill or moved up the hill. But
it looked like he just moved up the hill, maybe thinking he could squeeze his way up, and certainly.
And it's chaos. You can see right here, these trucks were not able to see after the initial truck started spinning and created so much smoke. There's another view. Kligerman, Kaz hard into the outside wall. Zane gets into Kaz. Stefan gets into Zane. Austin Hill gets involved with the 7 truck. He gets together with Stefan after the fact.
Look at that bright yellow truck, keeping his playoff hopes alive. Matt Crafton threaded his way through the chaos, as did Tyler Ankrum. Ankrum
on board Daniel Dye.
Oh, everybody behind him got wiped out.
Yeah, Daniel did a really nice job.
Yeah, he's being shown in 12th right now.
Chase Purdy did a real nice job.
Zane Smith and Stephen Parsons become a part of that. There's the 02 truck on the outside wall. And there's Zane.
Probably a little oil fire there.
That's a shame.
You can see all the fluid on the racetrack.
He came in 26 points behind Heim. Looking at that regular season championship chase, won both stages and it made up a ton of ground. But after this and some of that track position he lost in the exchange of strategy, Zane Smith now showing 46 points behind Corey Heim when it comes to trying to run down that regular season crown. And see here the drivers that were involved. Good to see Kaz Grala out of his truck. He'll run in the Xfinity race later today. In fact, 3 guys involved in this crash doing double duty today. You got Kaz, Austin Hill, Parker Kligerman. It had been a clean race. Excuse me, Michael. I mean, you had the Tanner Gray incident early, but, you know, the rest of stage 1, stage 2 fairly clean. And then here in this final stage, you know, you had the problem with Sanchez when he and Garcia got connected, and now this big incident in turn 1 that's taken out some good ones.
Yeah, NASCAR had to throw the red to get this mess cleaned up, and it's just really tough to take when you if you're Stuart Friesen. And, you know, Stephen Parsons just making one of his few starts, gets tied up in that mess. Zane Smith on fire. Kaz, I mean, it's a shame when your day's ended. But we said it earlier, Adam, as the laps wind down, it's just going to get more and more intense and more stuff's going to go down, and that's what we just saw.
And another big restart coming after we clear everything in turn 1. 8 laps to go. Red flag is out at Pocono for the Craftsman Truck Series. Fifth caution of the day has turned into a red flag here at Pocono. Big crash involving several drivers in turn 1. The 88 of Matt Crafton was able to weave his way through all the problems, and the 3-time champion is being shown 17th right now. How did he get it done?
Well, let me just draw you a little circle here, Adam, and show you how he gets it done.
That was a good circle, by the way.
Thank you. Big crash up ahead, and Matt, look at that. Track's nearly blocked, but he was able to just squeeze between Stuart Friesen, Rajah Caruth, and make his way through.
And you could see him accelerate before the hole would close back up. So you don't win 3 championships and have the kind of career Matt Crafton has had without avoiding some things.
You're starting to think maybe Poca, yes.
I was just going to go there.
You're just hedging your bet a little bit there.
I think we should dial up Matt Crafton here.
Hey, Matt Crafton, this is the Fox booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. Loud clear.
Well, buddy, we watched you avoid that incident there. It took all your years of experience to miss that. Great job, and really has you back in contention here. You were obviously a little different strategy, had some damage, but now in pretty good position.
Yeah, so guys, the truck handle's not bad. We just got lost track position at the beginning, didn't qualify good, and then we got the nose tore up. Just have a little bit of parachute on the front. It's been a little bit aggravating day, but it's Pocono for me. I mean, me and this place do not get along, so hopefully we can make trick and settle that, you know what, and salvage a good finish today.
Well, you've done a great job. We've enjoyed watching you, and again, we've been watching you for a long time, and I said just a moment ago when we were watching that replay is that you don't win 3 championships without avoiding some incidents. You did a great job there.
Thank you. Appreciate it, boys. We're trying like heck. My patience is running thin because I keep pulling out of line too many times because I want to go somewhere, and then I get out of line and they don't come with me, and then you get freight trained. So a little aggravating today, but we're going to keep digging and see what we can make out of it.
All right, buddy, finish it off.
So you said to him, hey, I said just a few minutes ago, you don't win 3 championships without knowing what you're doing. You didn't mention that in the pre-race you said Pocono instead of Poca yes on Matt Craftsman.
I did not mention that.
It doesn't sound like Matt caught the pre-race show. He was
Yeah,
awfully
evidently
nice.
not.
He was awfully nice to me,
He
wasn't
really
he?
kind of Phil there.
Let's hear from his crew chief, Jamie.
Well, Jared Prince was also listening to Matt Crafton's comments in his conversation with you guys over the radio. He said aggravating. That's what it was like on that side of pit wall. Back on this side of pit wall, all the work that you guys have had to do to keep him in the place where he can get into point for contention. What have you had to say about your team?
Yeah, it's been a long day. The team's working hard. We got damaged on lap 1, so we had to come fix it right away. Just put us behind even worse than we already were. And then we tried staying out for some stage points. We got 1. Probably should have just short pitted there and went for the better finish at the end of the day. But this wreck helped, obviously, and now we can get back up with some of the faster trucks. We'll be all right.
Be all right, he said. Josh?
Here with Joe Shear, crew chief of the 98. Right now, Majeski running 5th. Now, you guys can clinch a playoff spot via points, but you also have a shot for the win. So what are you looking at the last final laps?
Well, we always go for the win. You know, the points come with that. So we're going to do what we got. I just don't think we got enough speed for those guys up front there, but you know, we've done a great job. We've executed. Pit stops were good. Ty's doing a fantastic job. So you never know what's going to happen. This is not like our favorite place in the world, but you never know what's going to happen, and we're going to go for it. You know.
Thanks and good luck, Joe. Guys.
Thank you, Josh. And with the trucks eliminated in this crash, that means Majeski now is locked in to the playoffs on points. It is, in fact, official. And we also should update that both Zane Smith, Stuart Friesen have been taken to the infield care center. They have been checked and released. Good news there after that hard hit in turn 1.
Yeah, we knew it was just a formality for Ty Majeski. We figured he would probably lock himself in. He's had a great season, just hasn't got the victory lane. But as we talked earlier, no races out of his reach when we get down to the playoffs.
And you can see his strategy's all been about the finish of this race, having that truck in a position to take advantage of the checker flag and get the most points he could there.
Well, you know, he hasn't won, but he's 3rd in regular season points. So that speaks to how consistent they have been. The other thing I would say about Ty Majeski, talk to him anytime. Really doesn't matter the situation. Is steady as they come. His temperature really doesn't change. His heart rate maybe doesn't bounce around like you and I, Michael. And with that, I think they're able to overcome many adversities, and when they do have success, they're able to handle that as well, and that's why he made the championship for last year, and he's in the position he's in 2023.
Let's see if we can talk to Ty Majeski and ask him what he's thinking here late. Hey, Ty, it's Waltrip and the gang from the Fox booth. Do you copy?
I got you loud and clear.
Well, it's been a steady progression toward the front of the pack. Now that you're there, you got something for these boys. Can you win this race?
Boy, I don't know. I think we're decent. Obviously, typical Pocono as you get, farther and farther up the front, get closer to that clean air. The truck handles better, so Joe made a great call to flip that second stage, get us some track position. I think we're in pretty good position with our farm paint Ford F-150 to get ourselves a good finish, maybe contend for a win here.
Well, you won one of the biggest short track races in America a couple weeks ago, and there's a lot of short track racing going on for the playoffs. You've got to feel really confident about your chances to be the champion this year.
I really feel great about these next 4 or 5 races or so. Obviously, as you mentioned, won Slinger Nationals last week, and then went to Anderson and ran 3rd for the ASA Stars Tour. So just a pleasure to drive good super late models and fast trucks week in and week out. Love what I do, and hopefully we can get this momentum switched around on the truck side. We got to switch around a little bit at Mid-Ohio, but need to get back to top 5 in these guys to death and then make a run in deep into the playoffs.
Well, we love watching what you do, bud. Thanks for your time. Have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, thanks, Mikey. You guys have fun up there.
We are. We're
always.
It's like he's been watching.
He knows us well, doesn't he? Fifth caution of the day has led to a red flag. This the incident off of turn 1. Ross Chastain has been released from the care center. We'll come right back after you watch this. Chasing history here at Pocono. Kyle Busch second in this race, chasing 100 wins all time for KBM as we look at the milestone victories in their history.
2010 it all started for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and win number 50 came from Christopher Bell for this organization.
Number 75, Todd Gilliland in Martinsville.
Kyle Busch did it earlier this season at Las Vegas. Today making his final start of the 2023 season. Can he hit the century mark? He's meant so much to the Craftsman Truck Series, made the move in the offseason from Toyota to Chevrolet, and it's a big day for Toyota as well. Corey Heim is out front. We said it earlier, but if he wins, or Christopher Bell, Taylor Gray, they're all up there. It would be win number 600 all time for Toyota in the top 3 series of NASCAR. And we're going to get a restart with 5 laps to go. How about that, huh? Down to Josh.
Here with the crew chief of the 17 team for Taylor Gray, Jacob Hampton. How are you feeling about your chances of coming home with a win right now in the 3rd position as we get set to go back green?
When I moved over to crew chief, my first race was Mid-Ohio, so it's my 2nd race here on the box. When I came over, I asked Taylor to try to do the best he can to finish in the top 10, and we wanted to consistently do that moving through to the rest of the year, and he's done a great job. Obviously, we're P3 here, looking to push Corey out and get a 1-2 finish for a track on.
Thanks, and good luck the rest of the way. Jamie?
Well, how about Christopher Bell up into the top 5? He's running 4th right now after starting this race 14th. I talked to him out on the grid, asked him about how this all came together, why he's back behind the wheel. The last time we saw him in the truck was actually back at North Wilkesboro, and this is the same goal for Team HRE to have him behind the wheel, is that they just want to see where they're at. Back at Wilkesboro, he said that they had a truck that was running in the top 5 to top 10. Here before the race today, he didn't think that they really had that. He thought they were further behind. They didn't qualify the way they wanted to, but now he knows, and he's been able to relay to the team that you guys have some trucks that really build as this race goes on. You've got something to fight with. So the team's pretty happy with the job that he's done and the information that they've been able to get. Right now, he said the truck was just a little too free. He can't be as aggressive as he wants to be with it, but they certainly have something that they can work with.
And he's going to play a big role on this restart because he goes inside behind Kyle Busch. It's going to be the same restart position for all these drivers up front that we had the last time.
And these pushes could become more aggressive. Not only flaring out and going 3 wide is going to be a challenge, but also just making sure you get that front bumper to the back and give the push smooth enough so that you don't lift up the rear tires on the truck in front of you and cause him to lose control. This is going to be wild.
It's hard for that front truck to go anywhere when his rear tires are up off the ground, but you've got one of the best in the business in the 61 of Christopher Bell of knowing how to do that.
And then you got a rookie in Taylor Gray trying to figure out how to do it.
And he's done it great.
He's 2 for 2.
Yes. Did it very aggressively and perfectly earlier. Can he do it again? Corey Haim's pulling for him, I'll tell you that.
Paying off the red flag. It was 13 minutes, 46 seconds today here at Pocono. And Kaz Gralla, you saw him out of his truck. He had driven it back around to pit road, got out of his truck, still had to go to the care center. He did. He was released and is doing fine. He'll race later today in the Xfinity Series. So 5 laps to go. Front row is going to be Haim and Busch. Row 2, Taylor Gray, Christopher Bell. We've talked about how they should all work together. You got Majeski, Eckes up there. Dean Thompson having a great afternoon. Hocevar, a part of the equation. Ben Rhodes, Grant Enfinger.
When does Christopher Bell say, I'm done pushing you, Kyle? I'm going to 3 wide you. Watch for that on this restart.
Without a doubt. It may be easier to make that move now than to try to push Kyle out front and then deal with him by yourself.
Yeah, because then you might have to deal with both Kyle and Haim. You get it done on this start, you might be on your way to seeing the checker flag first.
Well, if you get the lead here on a restart, you definitely have put yourself in position to control this thing because we know it can be a challenge coming from behind. 5 laps remaining. Haim going to get a push in the outside lane from Taylor Gray. Busch getting his help in the draft from Christopher Bell. We're going to finish it off at Pocono.
They're bumping.
And they're jumping out of line.
Oh, and Kyle's there. He's been loose down there, though.
Is there enough momentum in that outside lane? Yes, there is. Corey Haim back on point.
What a move around the top. Corey Haim drives away, but the draft is going to be strong as they come down toward turn 2.
Here comes Bell to the inside of Taylor Gray.
Grant Enfinger, aggressive on the restart. He's in line in 5th. Don't write off Majeski, who's 6th. Eckes right there with him.
Dean Thompson hanging tough in the top 10, as well as Daniel Dye trying to get his first career top 10 finish.
Look at Hocevar. Remember, he caused the big accident over in turn 1, but had little to no damage.
But he got tight off turn 3 there. It's going to cost him a lot.
Boy, they are slicing and dicing down this 3,700-foot straightaway. 4 laps to go. Haim is out front, but here comes Kyle Busch.
I think Haim's fine with Kyle peeking his nose to the inside. He just doesn't want him to make that switch over and get high on Haim.
I think Haim just wants to put his truck where Kyle wants to run his truck. If Kyle's going to go low, Haim goes low. If he goes high, he goes high. Just stays in front of him, takes that air away from him. Here comes Kyle again.
In the tunnel turn. Kyle Busch is there, slides back into line.
You see Haim just edging over toward the inside of the track, trying to take that momentum away and then flare it up to the top.
You see that 4-truck length lead? You might think that's probably comfortable. Not with a draft here at Pocono.
And look what's behind Kyle Busch. Taylor Gray is going to help push Kyle up toward Corey Haim.
Remember, that's Corey Haim's teammate, Taylor Gray.
3 laps to go.
So that draft pulled Kyle right up to the back bumper of the 11 of Corey Haim.
This is intense racing. All about technique, making sure you take the groove away. Hit your marks perfectly here as we race toward the checkered.
Boy, This time through the tunnel turn, looked just like the last. Kyle Busch a peak, cannot make the move. Heim maintains the top spot.
Watch that 17. If he gets up behind Kyle Busch, it's going to make that draft even more significant.
If Kyle could get to Corey Heim before he gets right to the corner, then it may be a different story. We saw him make that slide job one time, and then Corey Heim fought back.
2 laps to go at Pocono. 5 miles to win number 3 on the season for Corey Heim.
I feel like I own Corey Heim's truck. I'm nervous. I'm nervous for him. I'm a big Kyle Busch fan as well, but man, it's so cool to see these kids come in and stake out their ground in the sport of NASCAR, and that's exactly what Heim and Taylor Gray are trying to do right now.
Kyle Busch tightening up as we head through the tunnel turn. Nothing doing this time around. Across the short chute to turn 3. And then back to the start-finish line, where they'll see the white flag.
See Kyle moving high up the racetrack, trying to get some cleaner air.
1 lap to go at Pocono. Next flag ends the race. Corey Heim in front of Kyle Busch and the rookie Taylor Gray.
Taylor Gray's coming.
Been such an incredible season for Corey Heim. Even though he missed the race at St. Louis, in position to win the regular season championship. Held off Kyle Busch for the win at Martinsville. Got his 2nd win at Mid-Ohio, but he's going to lose the top spot here in the tunnel turn. Kyle Busch waited, and then he pounced. Kyle is out front at Pocono.
Kyle used every one of those years of experience to make that pass on Corey Heim.
Off of turn 3. Hello, history books. It's going to be win number 100 for Kyle Busch Motorsports, and it comes courtesy of the boss. Kyle Busch delivers at Pocono.
KFB, you're the man.
Wow, what a move.
I was just going to ask you, when does he make the move? Can you wait till the final lap? Because if the caution comes out, the race is over. So calculated. In the tunnel turn, Kyle Busch makes it happen. It's win number 100 for Kyle Busch Motorsports. And for Kyle as a driver, the 64th time he's pulled a truck into victory lane.
That was intense because you knew he was going to use the draft. He was using all the years of experience, as you said, Phil, to figure out how to make that run.
Whew. And he had a number of laps to figure out where maybe he was better relative to Corey Heim than anywhere else. He intentionally didn't try to make the move getting in turn number 1 again, because that didn't work. Watch this little run here.
Just got that big run off of turn 1 and then dives it hard into the tunnel.
See that little wiggle from Heim when he got to him.
And then Heim almost runs into the wall off 2. That was crazy intense.
For Kyle Busch, it's his 2nd win of the year. Also won earlier this season at Las Vegas. And the 3rd time he's won of the Craftsman Truck Series at Pocono. 4 Cup wins here, an Xfinity victory, and now the hat trick in a truck.
What an impressive performance, which we've obviously said that a number of times before for Kyle Busch, but I mean, I think he just studied Corey Heim over those last number of laps to see, well, maybe where is he going to be a little bit more vulnerable than the other corners? And I think he probably had it in his mind. That's what he was going to do, maybe with 2 or 3 laps to go.
Fans giving him the love that he deserves for that beautifully executed pass on the last lap.
18 different drivers have won in a truck for Kyle Busch Motorsports. And a couple of them that finished inside the top 5 have pulled it off. Corey Heim has won a truck race for Kyle, so has Christopher Bell. They finished 2nd and 4th this afternoon. Great day for Taylor Gray, who comes home 3rd. Grant Enfinger got to 5th. Majeski ends up 6th. Christian Eckes having a great season was 7th. Dean Thompson finishes the deal in the top 10. He was 8th. Rhodes and DiBenedetto complete the top 10. But the man in Pocono today is Kyle Busch. Here's Josh
Kyle
Sims.
Busch, before the race, you told me you were tired of being asked when Win 100 was going to come for KBM. Will you get it done here today? What does 100 for your organization mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. You know, we've been around for a long time. Not as long as others, obviously. They've withstood a little bit longer, but it's been fun. Just a great ride. Obviously, you know, this Silverado today was really, really fast, just mired in traffic, and couldn't find a way to make a clean move, so had to make a little bit of a racy one, a little bit of a dicey one there at the end, getting into 2. But Heim ran a great race. Just, you know, we needed this 100th win to get it over with, and this Reese Transport Silverado was just too fast to hold us out of victory lane. So really proud of the guys, everybody at KBM, everybody at Rowdy Manufacturing, appreciate them. And you know, it's a monumental day. It's a century mark of being able to win 100 truck races. You know, we're granted a small team and just one that you know, performs in the truck series. We ventured away once upon a time and didn't quite work, but we found a home here in the trucks, and excited to have Craftsman back on board. So we appreciate Craftsman and all their support of the truck series over the years. So you know, it's cool to always score a victory, and another nice one here at Pocono.
Kyle Busch, your winner at Pocono. Jamie?
It was refreshing to hear Kyle Busch mention Corey Heim and the fantastic drive that he had inside of that interview. You led 18 laps today, but that disappointment on your face, I feel it radiating off of you. What do you take away?
Yeah, just unreal. I mean, I felt like I did everything right. I seemed like we had about 5 laps in the truck before it started tightening up really bad on me. So didn't really get the run I wanted out of 1, and I knew his straightaway speed was really good. But I was a little upset initially, but realistically, I would have done the exact same thing. So you know, heat of the moment kind of deal there. But looking back on it, I mean, I've just got a lot of respect for Kyle. I've raced for him for 2 years, and he was really good to me, and he raced me with respect today. Hard racer. He didn't wreck us to win, and I would have probably done the same thing. So just really sucks. I mean, I really thought we had it there, especially with seeming that he couldn't really form up a run good enough to pass me, and then he sends it in on the last lap. So just super thankful for everyone at Chicon Garage, Toyota Racing, Safe Flight. This Tundra TOD Pro was really good today. Just once again, seemed like we just had about 4 or 5 laps in it until it started tightening it up, and you know, all the blame goes on me for not doing what I should have done.
You did a great job.
Got bested by one of the best ever. And lessons learned. He nearly turned Kyle away for the 2nd time head-to-head this year. It was a great battle, and you'll always look back and think what I could have done differently, but the run off of turn 1 was the reason why Kyle had all that momentum and used the draft and dove in there aggressively, as Kyle said, and Corey agreed, but yet made the pass cleanly.
Yeah, I don't think Kyle he didn't make the pass or attempt to make the pass getting in turn 1, because he knew he needed to get off of 2 better. If he tries to make the pass into turn 1 and it doesn't work, then he's going to lose all his momentum. It's just a smart race by a great driver.
And he's got the 100 wins flag. Fitting that he was able to hit the century mark for KBM. For Corey Heim, it's his 7th top 5 finish in 14 starts this year. Taylor Gray, 3rd. That is a career best. We offer our congratulations to him. Here's what's up next. Saturday night from Richmond, regular season finale, race day at 7. We're green at 7:30 from the Commonwealth. And when we wrap things there, we'll know the 10 drivers going for the championship in 2023. Thanks to Josh Sims and Jamie Howe. Great job on pit road with Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons. I'm Adam Alexander. We're all done in Pocono. Congratulations to Kyle Busch. He wins it. Number 100 for KBM. NHRA comes your way next on FS1. Stick around.
copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.